Hello, I'm Beelzebub and welcome to my channel. I've been making videos and putting them up on here for a couple months now, giving you a pretty good idea where I stand on religion. But in today's video, I wanted to give you a look into who I am, since I am a three-dimensional person with more interests than just taking religion to task. And guys, I want to get to know you too, so tell me a bit about yourselves in the comment section below. But because I'm something of an egomaniac, let's bring the conversation back to me. So, a bit about myself. I've lived in Ohio for pretty much my whole life, despite my best efforts to move somewhere else. I did manage to get out for a while when I joined the Air Force. I spent about 6 months living in Texas, where I did my basic and technical training, and about a year and a half in Germany, which was pretty awesome. While I was over in Germany, I did some traveling, not as much as I'd have liked to, since, I have no idea if I'll ever get to go back to Europe again. But while I was over there, I spent a weekend snowboarding in Switzerland, another weekend skiing in Austria, and I spent a night that I don't remember very well in the Netherlands because I drank a little too much. And by a little too much, I mean a lot too much. I served in the Air Force for about 2 years before being medically discharged for asthma. The basic training dorms that I lived in had something of a black mold issue, and I spent the entire 8.5 weeks breathing that shit in. I've got plenty of stories from the Air Force, but that'd probably make the video too long, so perhaps I'll make a video entirely dedicated to stories from my time in the Air Force. After I got back home from Germany, I started brewing beer. I'm not particularly good at it, but I have fun with it. Sadly, I don't brew much anymore, but I need to get replacement parts for the equipment I have anyway, and then I can start buying ingredients and start brewing again. But since we're talking about beer, can I just say how much I love beer? I mean real beer, like craft beer, microbrewed beer, not that mass manufactured swill you get from some breweries that I won't name because I couldn't survive the lawsuit, but I'm pretty sure you know the ones I mean. My personal favorite brewery is probably not very surprisingly a local one. They brew lots of IPAs and pale ales, which really aren't my thing, but their wheat beers, their Pilsner, and their amber ale will blow your mind. But, I mean, if you are into IPAs and pale ales, you'll enjoy those too. The brewery is called Homestead Beer Company, and if you're ever in the Newark, Heath, Ohio area, give them a try. They brew some really good beer. When it comes to music, my tastes are pretty eclectic, but I prefer hard rock, although it almost always comes down to the mood I'm in. My favorite band of all time is Breaking Benjamin, but lately I've been listening to Poets of the Fall a lot. I'll actually go ahead and link my Spotify playlist down below so you can get a better sense of what I like to listen to regularly. So I may not be a mega nerd, but I really do enjoy shit like Star Wars, Harry Potter, and Game of Thrones. I probably spend more time than I care to admit watching Star Wars videos on YouTube by channels like Star Wars Theory and Star Wars Reading Club, just to name a couple. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but I just enjoy their content, so check them out. You might like them as much as I do. I've loved Pokemon Go since I was a little kid. Okay, so maybe I don't love Pokemon so much anymore, but I do like to play Pokemon Go a lot. And I'll walk about 3 to 5 kilometers a day. I might be a little obsessed with the game, but I'm getting exercise, so how bad can it be? Oh, and if anyone watching plays Pokemon Go, I'll be linking my trainer number down below. I started reading more this year too. I can't remember the first book or two I read. They probably didn't hold my attention all that well. But I did read Waking Up by Sam Harris, which was all right, but when I abandoned religion, I abandoned spirituality too. So the book didn't really jive with me all that much, if you know what I'm trying to say. But it did make me think, which is kind of the point. I read a book by Rachel Litfin called Chronicles of Royal High, The Lost Noble. For being a young adult book, I really enjoyed it. I'll leave the Amazon link down below so you can check it out. Once again, I'm not sponsored. I just really enjoyed reading her book, and I'm looking forward to reading the next book in the series when it gets released. I read the first Game of Thrones book, which is really good. But it took me a month to read it because it's like that thick. It's definitely not easy reading, but it was so worth it. And currently, I'm reading Why There Is No God by Armin Navabi. You may recognize him from Atheist Republic. The book covers 20 simple rebuttals to the most common arguments from theists. But I'm actually planning on doing a book review on it later, so I will spare you any further details. And I'll leave the Amazon link in the description box for that as well. But once again, and say it with me this time, I'm not sponsored. Although maybe at this rate I should be. But all that stuff's pretty safe to talk about. And this is an atheist channel, so let's get controversial. I was asked to talk about where I stand on some hot button topics, so here I go. And by the way, some of you are probably going to disagree with what I have to say. And if you do, explain your position in the comments section below and why you think it's superior to mine. And if your argument's good enough, you may actually convince me. When it comes to abortion, I'm pro-choice. I do put a limitation on that, and that limitation is viability outside of the womb, with obvious exceptions for rape and incest and well-being of the mother. And since viability isn't something that happens until about 6 months into the pregnancy, the mother has plenty of time to come to the realization that she's pregnant. On gun control, I just want reasonable gun control measures. Speaking as someone who handled guns professionally in the military and sold guns in civilian life in the state of Ohio, I understand the utility of guns better than most and realize that they really do have a limited number of household applications. I understand how easy it is to purchase guns, and actually the fastest gun sale I did was in 15 minutes, and that's from them getting to my counter, picking a gun, doing the paperwork, and getting walked out of the store by my manager. 15 minutes. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy shooting guns. I really do. I have fun with it, but I just don't believe that people who are likely to be a danger should be able to own them, like someone who has a history of violence. I don't think they should be able to own guns. And when it comes to the rights of the LGBTQ plus community, it's not really up to debate with me. They need to be given the rights that they fought for decades. And as human beings, they really deserve those rights anyway. Benjamin Franklin once said, "Nothing is certain but death and taxes." And in my opinion, that's the price you pay for living in a society. If you want roads, national defense, law enforcement, or public libraries, you need taxes. And those things don't magically appear out of nowhere, they take money, and that money comes from taxes. Let's end the video on my opinion on what is probably the most hot button topic in America right now, Donald Trump. That moronic gasbag has no idea how to run a company, let alone a country. His tax policies benefit only the rich. And I'll leave a PolitiFact link down below that calls a quote from Bernie Sanders mostly true. Going back to taxes for just a second, if you own most of the money in an economy, you should also pay the majority of taxes in that economy. And Trump is certainly the worst, almost certainly the worst president we've ever had, and he's definitely the worst president during my lifetime. I genuinely can't stand Trump, and his command of the English language is actually surpassed by my 8-year-old nephew. Should probably stop talking about Trump before I start to get pissed off. Maybe I'll dedicate another video or series of videos dedicated just to my controversial beliefs. That'll do it for this video though. If you enjoyed it, leave a like and subscribe to my channel. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter to keep up with my comings and goings. You'll find a link for that down below with all the other links down below. Take it easy, everyone, and I will see you all in the next one.